Some stories are not meant to entertain you. They are meant to wake you up. Some stories don't begin with happiness. They begin with silence, with loneliness, with a pain so deep that words feel useless. This is not just an English story. This is a story about life, about family, about regret, and about the moments we ignore until it is too late. Listen carefully, not just to improve your English, but to understand something much deeper. This is the story of a mother whose son left her alone. My name is Linda. I am 68 years old, and every morning I wake up before the sun. Not because I have somewhere to go, but because sleep no longer wants me. The house is quiet. Too quiet. There was a time when this house was full of noise. Footsteps running through the hallway. Laughter. Arguments. Music playing from a room that never stayed clean. That room belonged to my son. Now, when I open its door, all I hear is silence. I sit on the edge of my bed and look at my hands. They are old now, wrinkled, tired. These hands once cooked meals every day. These hands once worked 2 jobs. These hands once held a small boy who was afraid of the dark. I whisper his name softly. Daniel. But no one answers. Daniel was my only child. I raised him alone after his father passed away. Life was not easy. Money was always a problem. Time was always short. But love was never missing. I worked as a cleaner during the day and a caregiver at night. Sometimes I came home so tired that my legs hurt. But when Daniel smiled at me, the pain disappeared. I believed that love was enough. Maybe I was wrong. As Daniel grew older, he changed. He became quieter, more distant. He spent more time on his phone than talking to me. I noticed it, but I ignored it. I thought, he is young. This is normal. I thought, one day he will understand everything I did for him. But days turned into months. Months turned into years. And one day, he packed his bags. The day he left. Daniel stood near the door with 2 bags. He did not look at me. I remember that moment very clearly, because time felt frozen. I asked him, "Where are you going?" He replied without emotion, "I got a job in another city." Another city. Not another street. Not another house nearby. Another city. I tried to smile. I tried to be supportive. "That's good," I said. "I'm proud of you." But inside my heart, something broke. A question I never asked. I wanted to ask him many things. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Why do you look so angry? Why do you feel so far away even when you were standing in front of me? But I asked nothing. Because parents sometimes stay silent, hoping silence will protect love. Before leaving, he said only one thing. "I'll call you." Then the door closed. That sound, the sound of the door closing, still lives inside my chest. Life after silence. At first, I waited. Every day I kept my phone close. Every sound made my heart jump. But days passed. No call. Weeks passed. No message. I told myself, he is busy. Months passed. Silence became my new companion. Daily routine. Every morning I made 2 cups of tea. Then I remembered I was alone. So I poured 1 cup back into the sink. Every evening, I cooked too much food. Then I packed it and put it in the fridge, hoping maybe tomorrow he would come. Tomorrow never came. The loneliness. Loneliness is not just being alone. Loneliness is eating in silence. Loneliness is talking to yourself. Loneliness is pretending you are fine when you are not. I stopped visiting neighbors. I stopped answering calls. Because everyone asked the same question. How is Daniel? And I had no answer. English learning moment. Let me say this slowly. He did not say goodbye. He did not explain. He did not come back. Sometimes people leave physically. Sometimes they leave emotionally. Daniel did both. Winter night, turning point. One cold night, I slipped on the stairs outside my house. The pain was sharp. I tried to stand up, but my legs did not listen. I lay there, looking at the dark sky. I whispered, "Daniel, I need you." No answer. A neighbor found me and called an ambulance. At the hospital, the nurse asked, "Is there someone we should call?" I stayed silent. Then I said quietly, "No." Hospital realization. That night, I understood something painful. Love alone is not enough if communication is missing. Sacrifice is invisible when it is never explained. Parents think children understand. Sometimes they don't. Letter I never sent. When I returned home, I wrote a letter. I wrote about my sacrifices, my fears, my love. I wrote for hours. Then I folded the paper and put it in a drawer. I never sent it. Because pride is sometimes stronger than pain. Calm pause. If you are listening carefully, repeat this sentence in your mind. Unspoken words become regrets. A surprise encounter. One afternoon, while walking slowly to the grocery store, a police officer stopped me. "Ma'am, are you okay?" His voice was kind. I nodded. He helped me carry my bags. His name was Robert. That simple kindness felt heavy with emotion. End of part 2. Before leaving, Robert said, "If you ever need help, please don't hesitate." I watched him walk away. For the first time in years, I felt noticed. I felt seen. And I didn't know then that this small moment would change my life. A new routine. After that day, I started seeing Robert more often. Not because I planned it, but because life sometimes brings people together quietly. Every morning he passed my street during his patrol. Sometimes he waved. Sometimes he stopped to ask, "How are you today, Linda?" No one had asked me that in years, and I did not know how to answer. Simple talks, deep meaning. We talked about small things, the weather, the neighborhood, the grocery prices. But beneath those words, there was something else. Understanding. He listened when I spoke. He did not interrupt. He did not rush. For the first time in a long time, my words felt important. English learning, slow repetition. Let me say this clearly. Being heard is different from being answered. Robert heard me. The story I never told. One afternoon, he asked gently, "Do you have family nearby?" I hesitated. Then I said, "I have a son." He smiled. "That's nice." I looked away and added, "He doesn't live with me." Robert did not ask more, and that silence was kindness. Past memories. That night, memories returned. Daniel learning to ride a bicycle. Daniel holding my hand on his first school day. Daniel promising, "I will never leave you, Mom." Children make promises easily. Life makes forgetting easy too. A hard truth. I began to understand something painful. I gave Daniel everything, except my truth. I never told him I was tired. I never told him I was afraid. I never told him how lonely I felt even when he was home. I wanted to be strong, but strength without honesty creates distance. Important life lesson for listeners. If you are listening to this story, remember this sentence: love grows where honesty lives. Robert's story. One day, Robert shared his own story. He lost his mother when he was young. His father worked all the time. "I used to wait by the window," he said, "hoping someone would come home early." His words felt familiar. Pain recognizes pain. Emotional connection. We sat on a park bench. Two people, two different lives. One shared loneliness. There was no romance, no drama, only understanding. English practice, natural phrases. Repeat these phrases in your mind. I felt understood. I wasn't alone anymore. Someone cared enough to listen. The phone call. One evening, my phone rang. An unknown number. My heart stopped. I answered softly, "Hello?" Silence. Then a familiar voice. "Mom." It was Daniel. The moment I feared and wanted. I could not speak. Years of silence sat between us. Finally, I said, "Are you okay?" He replied, "I lost my job." No apology, no explanation, just honesty. For the first time. Choice. I had two choices: to remind him of his absence or to offer him safety. I chose love. "You can always come home," I said. My voice shook. After the call, I did not know if he would come. But hope returned. Hope is fragile, but powerful. Robert's advice. The next day, I told Robert about the call. He said something simple but important. Sometimes people leave because they don't know how to stay. Deep pause. Think about that. Sometimes people don't leave because they don't love you. They leave because they don't understand themselves. Waiting again, but different. I waited again. But this time, I was not empty. I was prepared. I promised myself, if Daniel returns, I will speak honestly. No silence, no pretending. End of part 3. One rainy evening, a car stopped in front of my house. The door opened, and someone stepped out. I held my breath. The return. The rain was falling softly. I stood near the window, my heart beating faster than it had in years. The car door closed. A man walked toward my house. He looked taller, older, tired. But I recognized his walk. It was Daniel. The door. I opened the door slowly. For a moment we just looked at each other. No words, no movement. Years of silence stood between us. Then he said quietly, "Hi, Mom." My voice broke. "Hi, Daniel." Emotion without words. He stepped inside. The house felt different, smaller, quieter. He looked around. "Everything is the same," he said. I replied softly, "Yes, except us." The truth finally spoken. We sat at the table. I took a deep breath. "I was lonely," I said. "I was scared, and I didn't know how to tell you." Daniel looked down. "I felt invisible," he replied. "I thought you were strong enough without me." That sentence hurt, but it was honest. Important life lesson. Strength without communication looks like distance. Apology. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry I left like that," he said. "I was angry, but I didn't know why." I reached for his hand. "I should have spoken too," I said. Forgiveness does not erase pain, but it opens the door to healing. English practice. Key sentences. Repeat slowly. "I'm sorry I didn't understand you. I should have spoken earlier." Let's start again. Robert's role. The next morning, Robert stopped by. Daniel met him at the door. Robert smiled kindly. "Welcome home," he said. That moment felt symbolic. Sometimes strangers help heal family wounds. A new beginning. Daniel stayed. Not forever, but long enough. We cooked together. We talked. We laughed. Silence no longer ruled the house. Hard conversations. One evening, Daniel said, "I was afraid of becoming like my father." That explained everything. Fear makes people run. Understanding makes them return. Growth. Daniel started looking for work again. I started sharing my feelings. We were learning. Not to be perfect, but to be honest. Powerful pause. If you are listening, remember this. Family is not about never leaving. It is about always being able to return. Change inside me. I stopped blaming myself. I stopped waiting silently. I started living again. End of part 4. Calm before end. One evening, as we sat quietly, Daniel said, "Mom, thank you for not closing the door." I smiled. Some doors close loudly. Some stay open quietly. Time moved on. Daniel did not stay forever. But this time, when he left, he did not disappear. He called. He visited. He stayed connected. And that made all the difference. A different kind of goodbye. The day he left again, he hugged me tightly. "I won't make the same mistake again," he said. I believed him. Not because he promised, but because he understood. The house changed. The house was quiet again, but it was not empty, because peace had replaced silence. Robert's final words. One afternoon, Robert stopped by. He smiled and said, "You look lighter." I was. Letting go of resentment is like putting down a heavy bag you forgot you were carrying. Important message for listeners. If you are listening to this story, I want you to remember something important. Do not wait. Do not wait to speak. Do not wait to explain. Do not wait to forgive. Because time does not pause. English practice. Life sentences. Repeat slowly. I choose understanding over anger. I will speak before silence grows. I will not wait until it's too late. A mother's realization. I learned something valuable. Children do not leave because parents are bad. They leave because emotions are confusing and communication is missing. Final life lesson, core message. Love is not proven by sacrifice alone. Love is proven by presence, honesty, and listening. Slow pause, very important. Take a moment. Think about someone in your life you haven't spoken to. Send a message. Make a call. Today. Closing words, story end. This was not just my story. It is the story of many parents, many children, many silent homes. If this story touched you, it was meant to. Soft CTA, not pushy. If you are learning English, listen again. If you felt something, share this story. And if someone came to your mind while listening, don't ignore that feeling. Final line, powerful ending. Some doors close forever. Some stay open because someone chose love over silence.